He has worked as the Chief Public Safety Officer, Director of the Safe City Strike Force, 911 Interim Director, Chief Deputy District Attorney, Assistant DA, former Albuquerque City Councilor, Assistant Attorney General, and he's on the ballot for mayor, and we're going to be welcoming Pete Dinelli on the show. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Jamai. Thank you for having me.
I know it took a little time, but we had to make sure that you were comfortable before we brought you in. Quite a resume there. You have an extensive resume there. Tell us where it first began for you, why you decided to run, and what was just give us a little, that way the viewers understand how you got into it.
I decided to run for mayor about a year ago, and I had retired from the city of Albuquerque, and I was born and raised in Albuquerque, and I have a real deep love for the community that I was raised in. My wife was also born and raised here. And I became very concerned about what has been happening at City Hall, in particular involving the police department and the fire department, but as well as the job situation. My wife and I, having raised two children, we wanted to make sure that they had the same opportunities that we had when we grew up, same opportunities when it came to jobs, and also to be able to raise a family here. And I felt because of my background and because of some of the issues that Albuquerque is now faced with, the time was for me to try to get back into the game and to run for mayor of Albuquerque.
You've been in and around the city a lot, so you know a lot. Tell us a little bit. I know your background mostly in like safety and things like that. You were worked for the DA's office, Attorney General's office. Most on both sides, we heard the conversation that you don't have background in finance. But I know, and that's what you hear. You hear from either, So tell us a little bit, what would you bring to the office as far as finance is concerned, the budget and all that?
Well, I find that very interesting because, first of all, I have a degree in business administration with a major in finance. My degree is from Eastern New Mexico University. On top of that, I also had my own business. I was in private practice for a period of 13, 14 years, and I actually had my own firm, and I ran a business. On top of that, when I was with the Albuquerque City Council, I was chairman of the Finance Committee, and we were able to formulate budgets for the city of Albuquerque. So when I hear the commentary that I do not know business or that I don't have a business background, I cannot help but chuckle, because the fact is I do have an extensive business background. As far as the city finances are concerned, I'm very concerned about what's happening. I've actually dealt with budget shortfalls, especially when I was on the city council. We dealt with a $13 to $14 million shortfall, and so I know how to deal with.
So you understand the budgets really well?
Oh, I understand the city budget very well, and also during my 8-year term with the city attorney's office, as well as head of the Safe City Strike Force, I have actually had to formulate budgets for the departments that I headed up, and they were performance-based budgets. And by that, we had to articulate what our financial needs were, what our funding needs were, but to also identify our personnel needs. So I'm very familiar with that. And also my background includes being a judge for a period of 7 years, a workers' compensation judge, an employment judge, a worker that is dealing with injured workers. So I have a very strong feel for the business community. Also, when I was in private practice, I represented a number of businesses. So I'm very concerned about the current city finances. I think that we have pretty much a city that needs strong leadership, especially when it comes to trying to attract jobs to the Albuquerque area. And I believe I have the background to be able to do that.
So what would you do as mayor as far as the economic and job situation? Because I know the economy basically has no pulse right now. It's growing very slowly. What would you bring to the mayor's office as far as the development and the job situation?
The fact is, Albuquerque's economy is on life support. We have had a 0% job growth rate now for the last 3 years. On top of that, the surrounding communities, the surrounding states have in fact have a very healthy job growth rate. Albuquerque in fact had a negative job growth rate this last year. And I really believe, because of the lack of leadership that has been shown by this particular administration, that the time has come for someone to be elected that will be able to show true leadership in trying to identify how do we jumpstart our local economy. What I intend to do is to be very assertive in identifying major projects in the Albuquerque area where we will be able to finance them with a capital improvements program, as well as try to identify tax increment districts that will be able to help us attract new industry to the Albuquerque area. The real key is jobs, jobs, jobs. We have to stem the flow. We've lost so many jobs over the last 3.5 years, and now Albuquerque also is losing young people, and we have to find out how can we attract new industry to the Albuquerque area. And I believe how we do that is promoting Albuquerque, making sure that those men and women that are graduating from the University of New Mexico are in fact graduating with the type of backgrounds that will be able to handle the new jobs that we're going to be able to attract to the Albuquerque area. But we're going to have to really promote Albuquerque, and by that I'm talking about trying to identify major industry that we can try to bring into the Albuquerque area.
How exactly do we do that?
Well,
how do we?
We're going to have to be able to come up with more incentives, but I really believe the capital improvement program and trying to identify infrastructure programs to jumpstart our local economy with construction is the first step. And once we identify those priorities that we need to address, whether it be the sewer system, the water system, work with the Water Utility Authority to identify major projects, and again, try to jumpstart the local economy. Also, there are a number of industries that are proven to be very promising for the city of Albuquerque. One in particular to me is the film industry. I really believe that the film industry is part of Albuquerque's future. And our goal would be to see if we can, again, try to find additional incentives to bring in the film industry. 3 years ago, Albuquerque ranked #1 when it came to filming, whether it be TV programs or television programs or, for that matter, films in general. Now we are ranked #8. That happened in a period of 3 years. I also believe that the administration, the city administration, could have done a lot more to protect the incentives when they were starting to cut them back in Santa Fe. And again, you saw no leadership on the part of the current administration.
We're going to take a short break in a few seconds.
Sure.
But when we come back, let's talk a little bit more about the budget and stuff. I know I'm sure you've seen the current budget, the one Mayor proposed. I want to talk a little bit about that, okay? And then we'll get into some of the other areas as far as the safety and security of Albuquerque and things like that.
Be more than happy to.
And I think Santa Fe is doing a lot better than us in economic terms. I'm sure that you have your own proposals that you're going to bring to the office and stuff. So we'll get a little bit into that, and then we'll take it from there, okay?
We'll do.
All right. So we'll be right back with Pete Dinelli.